People, it's happening once again. The position of Portgas D ace is shifting like an object under a cup, and then someone has two other cups and they're shifting around the cups and have to pick the right cup. Ace's position in terms of power is once again shifting in a lot of folks' minds, particularly because what was recently revealed about Ace, in theory, could tie to one of the most major components of the end game of the series. Oda keeps on doing this with Ace, a character where, for all intents and purposes, he became one of the latest Krispy Kreme donuts after Akainu did what he did. In terms of what he showcased, it's not necessarily all that great compared to, like, let's say, modern day heavy hitters, whether it's among other Yonko crew or admirals and so on, but retroactively gets a lot of sauce by Oda. And before, most recently on Agate Island, it was when? During Wano Country on Onigashima with Yamato. We found out that 4 years from the pre-time skip, Ace and Yamato fought each other for a period of time before becoming best friends. Some folks would speculate that they were more than just friends.
You behave, baby.
Yamato and Ace could fight each other, and we know that Yamato is strong because literally 6 years later, we see her fight against Kaido 1v1 for a period of time. She was the reason why Kaido wasn't going nuts in the castle in Gashima, which allowed the Strides and allies to get major W's, while Monkey D. Luffy was re-preparing to go up back to the rooftop. Where she lies exactly on the spectrum, it's up to you. But I think universally, folks say that she is strong, though likely not as strong compared to 6 years ago, but nonetheless, Ace could fight against her. And now recently, in chapter 1100, what was revealed? It was revealed by St. J. Garcia Saturn himself that Ace had beaten another warlord of the sea, and for some time they've been searching for a replacement, which is why Kuma became a warlord of the sea. So Kuma replaced the person that Ace had defeated 2 years ago from the pre-time skip to be a warlord.
Crazy.
And remember, he already fought against Jinbei for 5 days and nights, and effectively you could argue won that fight since Jinbei never got back up, but Ace did to fight against Whitebeard when he arrived. So this right here is kind of nuts because, effectively speaking, Ace has the title belts of Jinbei and this unnamed person, and then Luffy has the title belts of Crocodile, Gecko Moria, and Don Quixote do Flamingo. People, obviously, I think rightfully so too, they're taking this as another Ace buff, because being a warlord of the sea is a big deal, because the warlords, at least back then, were a major pillar of power that the world government and the Marines needed in order to compete with the emperors, which is why when Gecko Moria was defeated by Luffy, that was shh, hush, hush, and during Marineford he was still in that position. But on top of all of this is now spurred on fuel for another theory. Ace, Hiken, Flame Pillar, Entei, you name it, however this guy was beaten by Ace, it left permanent marks on his body, and this individual is the man marked by flames, who could potentially be guarding the last load poneglyph that would lead Luffy and his crew to Laugh Tale. Just how they assigned Doflamingo to try and take out Gecko Moria in a very hush-hush manner. In that same vein, they could have covertly moved this person, this warlord, into this position, Sly Cooper and Thieves style, so nobody knew, but a very select few. And even though he was defeated by Ace, they did find use for him elsewhere. And this would have proven Sea of the Rain's theory correct, where the all-black ship that guards this road poneglyph is guarded by a government man, a former warlord of all people. And if that's the case, if you're guarding a road poneglyph, you have to be powerful, and there's a good chance that this person could give even the Straw Hats a hard time. But this is the Straw Hat crew. They're an Emperor status crew. Luffy is absurd. He is going to be, at that point in time, even more absurd. And there's a good chance that this person is going to be much stronger compared to their past iteration, their past version that Ace beat. But we're never going to forget that Ace beat this person if this person is the man marked by flames who is defending the road poneglyph, the last road poneglyph. So, in terms of power then, where does that put someone like Ace? Personally speaking, I would say that Ace, in many ways, was nerfed during Marine 4. Honest to God, his showcase against Blackbeard was pretty damn dope. He was actually pretty studly. And the fact that BB does negate powers, whether it's Law or Ace, they are fighting at a disadvantage. Off the rip. Any power user, Kurozu, and now you're in trouble. And then afterwards, he was in Impel down level 6, wasn't treated well, went to Marine Forward, and can still do some dope things here or there. He even fully countered Kuzan's attack, the pheasant beak thing, with his flame mirror, which his crewmates did say was to be expected by Ace, 1, and 2, in a weakened state. So Ace has done some cool things for damn sure, and we do know that Ace had Conqueror's Hockey.
A conqueror.
Though it's sad to say, when it comes to his full hockey game, it's kind of like the golden Fort Knox. Nobody's seen it. Nobody has seen it. Where is the Armor Hockey, the Observation Hockey, Conqueror's Hockey pretty much one time in the distant past when he was a kid before leaving the Goa Kingdom? And it's sad to say because even in the Yamato flashback, this man's hockey game was covered in the invisibility cloak. It was wearing a raid suit because no one could see anything. But mind you that I'm talking about the manga and anime, okay? Because in the light novel, it is there, where he does have Armor Hockey, and he's being trained by Thatch in the Observation Hockey, but in the anime and manga, it's not there. And that is in part the reason why, let's say for example, I can't say that Ace is just as strong as someone like Sabo now. See, Sabo has Maramara, but he also has some pretty damn good hockey. And I have Sabo ranked really, really highly. But because Ace doesn't necessarily have a lot going for him in that hockey department, even in the light novels, it's not necessarily that much compared to someone like Sabo. Yeah, I really can't give Ace, let's say, the same power level as Sabo. And I'd actually even say that it makes the most sense to me that Ace is still under Marco. Yeah, to me it makes the most sense that Marco would be the #2 strongest person on the Weber Pirates, even compared to a fully rested, full power Ace. I would still take Marco in both pre and post time skip. I would still lean towards Marco over Ace. But don't take that as a diss against Ace, because I think that Marco is a pretty strong person for sure. And honestly, considering Luffy's own track record against warlords, if Luffy could beat Crocodile and Gecko Moria and Doflamingo, Marco probably could too, at least in terms of the pre-time skip for, let's say, Moria and Crocodile, because Crocodile got a astronomical spike, you could argue, easily, an astronomical spike during the time skip. The man's bounty is almost as high as Blackbeard's first bounty after the time skip. Like Yonko Blackbeard bounty. That's okay. So Crocodile has got some serious sauce. But let's say Gecko Moria, or let's say Doflamingo. If I have Ace against Doflamingo or Gecko Moria, in the pre-time skip, Ace, I think he's smoking. I think he's smoking Moria. Doflamingo, Ace versus Don Quixote Doflamingo. A lot of this is going to depend on how close you think Ace is to Marco in terms of overall combat ability. If Marco, in theory, can beat Doflamingo, because Luffy with his first Gear 4, he had Dofi. Insofar as while Luffy was in Gear 4, Doflamingo, even with his awakening, had really no way of competing with Gear 4. Obviously, you do have Gats and the boys come in there to stall Doflamingo after Luffy goes out of Gear 4, but while Luffy is in Gear 4, Luffy was he was smoking Dofi. But Cracker, who was 3rd division, was a much tougher job compared to Dofi. In fact, he needed Nami's help. If Oda had to be the case that someone like Marco could beat Doflamingo, I think it's possible that Ace could also beat...
Hang on a second. Wow!
I think it's possible that Ace, in his theoretical max power, healthy, hockey is there. And it's not high like Sly Cooper and Thieves, not like Where's Waldo, not like Dora the Explorer, where you have to go and find it. Like, oh, where's Ace's hockey? Can anyone tell me where Ace's hockey is? Do you know where Ace's hockey is, Boots?
I swear it is nowhere in this bag.
Now you listen here.
As long as everything is in order, Dofi and Dressrosa. I don't want to say like Dofi, he's in prison, going through those like prison workouts, looking mad broad like he's Whitebeard Jr., even more so than Weevil. No. Not the theoretical Dofi that people want to like gas up. I mean Dressrosa Dofi. Because if Ace is, let's say, around 2nd Division Commander level, in theory, so around a Queen and Smooth Thick, let's say even higher than them, yeah, I'm not against it. You can argue that there is a fair argument to say that Ace could get the job done. But that's my stance on where he lies in terms of power. I think that he still ultimately has to be under Marco. I think that's like the safest and fairest bet for Ace. Until, of course, proven otherwise. Like if Marco says that Ace had more power than he did, alright, fine. All right, off to the races. Have fun. Like if it's revealed that Ace had an attack called Fuga, start through the flaming arrow. But until then, I am comfortable in my mindset where Ace is located in the grand scheme of things. But let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. If you enjoy my content, then give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you cats on the flip side.
See you. Bye bye.